Welcome to our handover video for our Globecar Vario. Starting in our passenger door, we have two manuals. We have a vehicle specific manual that lets you know how to work everything in the van. We are going to be going over everything with you today, but it's a little reminder if you get stuck. This is a welcome pack. It's got lots of information about travelling around Scotland, and most importantly, it has emergency contact numbers should you need to get in touch with us. Also in here we're a member of the Camping and Caravan Club Privilege Scheme, where you can get discounts off your bookings, and all the information is inside. And we have an A to Z Scotland map. Moving up here, we have a rough guide to Scotland. We have the official North Coast 500 map, and we have a little bag for rubbish to keep our lovely country tidy. So when it comes to night time, you want to keep the light out and your heat in. We have window blinds. To open them, you squeeze these two bits together and you guide down the runner, and that holds magnetically in place. We also have windscreen ones. There's also one on the driver's side that just pull across and meet in the middle. Prior to your hire, all the engine levels have been topped up and checked, but should you need to go under the bonnet for any particular reason, you just pull this lever here. In the glove box, we have a basic first aid kit, microfiber cloth, small torch and a pen. Also, we have a handy little checklist. Just before you set off, it's good to run over to make sure you've unplugged your electric, you've lifted your levelling ramps, and keep your windows. It's a really good thing just to check before you leave. The vehicle is diesel and the tank will be full at the time of collection for your hire. To refuel, you open the flap, which is on the passenger side, and you'll see your two caps. The top cap's for your diesel, which you'll need your ignition key to unlock, and the bottom is for AdBlue, which is all topped up before you leave, and you shouldn't need to worry about that at all. Also on the passenger side of the van, we'll come to your electric hookup socket. You lift the flap, and you've got your electric hookup cable, which we supply in the back of the van. It's easy just to flip it up at your campsite and just plug that in. The other end of the cable will then go into the power supply at the campsite. To unplug, lift the flap and a good firm pull, and that's it. We come to our toilet cassette. So once you've decided who's going to clean it out, we'll show you how to do it. You take your small key from your key ring, you pop it in, you turn it, it pops out, and then you turn it that way and it will drop down. You'll see your toilet cassette inside. To remove the toilet cassette, there's a green handle that you lift up and you pull out. If it's a bit stiff when you're going to pull out, you just check that the blade on the inside is closed completely. Now to empty this, it must be done at an L sand or black water at a campsite. You pull this round, you unscrew the cap and you tilt it to empty it. If it gets a bit stuck, there's a little button here you press and it's an airlock, and it'll just help whoosh everything out. Once you've emptied it, you need to rinse it out, and to do that, you take this flap forward, you press this in here, and you pull. This is your blade. Pull that open. We recommend you rinse it a couple of times until your water runs clear. There's some L-Sand toilet chemical in the van that you supply, a good glug of that, and then close it all up. It does have a handy carry handle, should you need to carry it anywhere. And then you just pop it back in, and you have to make sure you get a good click. That's it in place. And then to lock this, you push that in, you hear 2 clicks, pop the silver key in, and turn it to lock. And that's your toilet cassette clean. This is your Truma boiler vent. It's just a vent, so when you've got your boiler on with your hot water heating, you may see steam come out of it, and it's quite normal. We've come round to the back of the van. This is your garage space. Inside this cupboard here, we have your gas. If you pop that open, you'll see there's a yellow gas cylinder. This is a refillable gas cylinder. It will be full at the time of your hire, and there's also an emergency gas cylinder. These are fitted with a gas safe system. So should you have an accident or a pothole, hit a big pothole or anything like that, the gas will automatically shut off to the front of the van. Should you need to reset it, it's quite a simple process. You'll see just on the pipes here, there's a black button. You press, there's a green one on this one, you press the green one and the black one, and just in behind here there's a little silver bit that sticks out, and you press that as well, and that will automatically reset your gas. Fingers crossed you shouldn't have to go in there whatsoever. The blinds in the back door are very simple. You just pull them up for your nighttime blinds and pop them back down. There is also a mosquito one. Unfortunately, don't keep out the little pesky midges. But these windows, they're on a ratchet system. So when you go to open them, you just pop them up and push out. When you push, you'll hear a click. And you put them out. So when it comes to close them, you have to push them all the way out as far as they go to the last click. And slide them all back in. And then close them firmly. These must be closed when you're travelling. Also in your garage space, we have your levelling ramps. Should you be parked on uneven ground, you can just pop these under your wheels and reverse on the drive onto them. You've got an emergency water carrier. You've got your fresh water hose when you need to fill up your fresh water. It's a 5-metre length hose. And your electric cable for when you go to your campsite, you need your electric hookup. We have a small coffee table and an umbrella. Come to your fresh water. To fill your tank, you lift this flap, you'll need your small key from your ignition. Just turn it to unlock and twist off. You'll then take your freshwater hose, which is an attachment for your hose at the campsite, and just fill that up. Once the water starts to come out, you'll obviously know it's full, but there is a sensor on the inside that lets you know how much water you have in your tank. This is a 100-litre tank. This is your grey waste water. This is the water that comes from your sink and your shower, which goes into this tank underneath the van. This also has to be emptied at a campsite. You would drive over the grey waste water. It could be a drain on the ground. And then with both hands, you give it a good firm pull down. And then there's a little twist, the top, and then open. Let that drain out. And once it's all drained out, you just pop the cap back on. And a good firm push back up. And that's your grey water waste emptied. This is a 60-litre tank. It holds up to 60 litres of your grey waste. Also, there is a sensor inside that will tell you what your wastewater is sitting at. In this motorhome, we have a 3 gas burner hob. We have a sink with a mixer tap for hot and cold water. In the cupboards, to open the cupboards doors, you press the button in and the handle comes out, and we've got useful kitchen utensils in the drawer and cleaning products. There's lots of storage in this van for your kitchen items. We also have cutlery, crockery, all the kitchen utensils that you need in each drawer. This was an empty cupboard for your own stuff. In this motorhome, we have a 3-way fridge. First of all, to unlock the fridge, there's a little catch here that you push back and it just opens it up. So when you are travelling, you need to make sure this is closed over so the door doesn't open. To work this fridge, you'll see this button here. You've got a plug, so that's when you're plugged into your mains electric at your campsite. You've got your battery, so that's like you're running off your leisure battery while you're driving, and it has a flame for your gas. So when you're wild camping. So when you need to set it, it's quite simple. When you're hooked up to your electric at the campsite, you put it to the plug. If you're travelling, you pop it onto the leisure battery, and it just keeps everything nice and cold. And when you come to wild camp and you want your gas, I'll explain how to start it. So you turn it down to the gas flame. You come over here, you'll see the little lightning strike. You hold these 2 buttons in. If you watch this dial here, you'll watch it go up. Once the dial goes into the green, you'll see it moving. Once that stops, you let these go, and that is your fridge running on gas. The important thing to remember, when you are ready to leave and you're going to drive, you need to switch this back on to the battery symbol, and that stops your gas from being used unnecessarily. In this motorhome, you have a nice spacious bathroom. So you'll see that I'm standing on the board on the floor. This is your shower tray. So to remove the top of the board, and that gets you into shower tray. To lock yourself in, you'll see that this door has come round the back of me, and we pull this one round. Excuse me. So when you're ready to have your shower, we have a shower curtain here. You pull the cord over. There's a little hook on there. You pop the cord round and then tie it back onto itself, making sure it's secure. Before you pull your curtain over, you would take your hose out from there, take it over and lean it on, and then pop your poppers on just to keep the bathroom dry. And that's you. You then pull your doors round and that's you in your shower cubicle. So once you've had your shower, you close your door and you're moving on to the toilet. It's a cassette toilet, and when you need to use it, you'll see this handle at the bottom. Pull this handle out, and that opens the blade that takes you into your toilet cassette. Once you've done your toilet, you got your flusher here, press that button. Once you're all done, you close this down. When you're finished, it's a good habit to get into, and that stops any smells or any splashes while you're driving. So when you're ready to travel, you need to keep all your doors nice closed. You pull this one round. As far as it goes, there's a little leather flap here. Take it round, pop it on, and that's your door secure for you when you're driving. So we've got the bed at the top above the cab. It's a pull down bed. It's actually a king size bed, so it's a good one. So you lift that down. No, you pull that. Whoops. And that's your bed down. You grab your ladder. The ladder is usually in your garage compartment at the back. You take your ladder, the two little hooks here, and you hook the ladder on there. And it's quite secure. Up there you go. Now there's also a safety net up here, which you can, if you've got smaller children, you pull the net up and it clips up onto the top there for safety. This is your Globecar Vario control panel. This is the panel that controls all the electricity from the inside. To switch the panel on, you press and hold, you hear a little beep, and that's your panel switched on. To get your lights and your power in the back, you see this 12 button, you just give the 12 volt a press, it will highlight, that's telling you that your power is on. Also this tap, it's for your water pump. So if you're going to use your taps or your shower, you press that on and it will highlight. What we do recommend is when you're finished with that, finish with your shower or your water, just to switch it off. Not to leave it on because the pump will continue to run. This button here is for your water. It's for your fresh water and your wastewater. If you press this, this is your level for your fresh water. There isn't a level for your wastewater until the tank is full. And then a little icon will appear just down on this side and it will flash, and that's to let you know that it needs to be emptied. Moving on to your battery, if you press this one, this is showing a 14.6, which is a high reading, and that's because we are plugged in. You will see the little plug-in at the top. That's what that is for. So when you're going down here, this is the vehicle battery. You'll see a little picture of the front of the vehicle, and that's telling you the vehicle battery. We do say if you're wild camping and your battery level drops to about 10 volts, you would need to either plug in to mains electricity at a campsite or go for a nice long drive. Next one here is your temperature. So you'll see it's 17.5 and there's an I, that's your internal temperature. If you press it again, you'll see your outside temperature. To switch your panel off, once you're finished, once you're ready to carry on with your next day's travel, you must switch this panel off, and it's just to hold the button down, and that's your Globecar control panel. This is our Truma panel. This panel controls your heating and your hot water in the van. To wake the panel up, you press the centre button and it comes up with these symbols. You'll see there's a dark line with no symbols above and the symbols below. This at the moment letting you know there's nothing on. This small plug here lets you know that you are plugged in at a campsite for mains electric. We'll wake it up again. First of all, you need to set your power supply. We'll go up to this one and press in. This is EL2. This is for when you're plugged into mains electric at the campsite. You select, the only other one you would use would be gas. If you were wild camping, you would select gas. At the moment, because we're plugged in, we'll select it. To select it, you press the button, and that's that one. We'll move back to the temperature. So you move back to the motorhome, select it by pressing it, and then by turning the dial, you select your temperature. Once you're at your desired temperature, you press it in again. So moving to your hot water, again, you just scroll over, select it by pressing the button. It's got settings, two settings on here. We've got Eco, which is 40 degrees, and we have hot, which is 60 degrees. We recommend that you stick with Eco because it's just a better temperature. So again, to select Eco, you would press the button in. You'll notice now we've selected them that they are flashing. Once the temperature and the water has reached the correct temperature, they will go static. Now the hot water, it's a 10-litre tank and it takes up to 30 minutes on gas to reach the temperature and 40 minutes on mains electricity. Now as you can see, everything's starting to heat up. You can go along here to the fan setting. Again, you just press into it. You've got Eco or you've got High. To be honest, it doesn't make much difference. All it is blowing the air round the van. Now, once you've spent your night and you're ready to leave the next day, you have to make sure that you switch everything off. So we just have to wake this up again. So we'll select the temperature, you click into it, put it back to 0, and then you just select again by pressing the middle button. Go on to your water, select it by pressing the button, select it to off, and press it in. Now that's all off. Now because we're in EL2, you don't need to touch this one, but if you were on gas, what we would recommend is going back into it and setting it to EL2. That then switches your gas off, so when you're travelling, there will be no gas coming into the vehicle. The blinds on the side door of the Vario are quite easy to use. If you squeeze these two bits together and just lift it up, and it will hook onto the blind at the top. This is also works as your mosquito blind. Squeeze the two bits back in, and that's your blind. To get this back to just normal, there's a little bit here. You squeeze them together and keep a hold of that one because it will spring up. The windows in here are slightly different to the back windows. They've got a little button, so you need to press the button in and lift. Same with these ones. And these windows are just on a strut and they'll just push open. And to close them, pop them in. And again, make sure they're closed tightly before you travel. When closing the door from the inside in the Vario, we do ask you that you don't pull from here because these are quite delicate. So if you can pull it from here, or there's a little black handle here and there's another black handle at the bottom. Just give it a right good pull and that's your door closed. The chairs at the front swivel round, so you've got some more seats. To swivel the seat around, there's a little handle here. You pull that handle back and you turn it around. If you need to adjust the forward and backward, it's normal like any car, forward and backwards. The driver's seat also swivels, and when you are swiveling it, just be aware that the handbrake is on the other side and you could catch it. While the chairs are in this position, they will not lock and they will swing. But as soon as you put them back into the driving position, they lock back into the safe position. Inside the cab of this motorhome, it is a standard 6-speed box. All your indicators and wiper levers are all the same as a car. You've got your handbrake down on your right hand side. Just have to remember that one. It's got your entertainment package. It's got sat nav built in and it's got your reversing camera here. You've got your 12 volt and a USB socket for charging, which that charges off your vehicle battery. There's extra cables down here. There's some aux cables that are super handy. Sorry, I couldn't think of what